Hi everyone, welcome to Sid's Killer Reviews. I have Cameron and Brian with me, and we're going to be reviewing The Equalizer starring Denzel Washington.
Okay, so who do you think was the assassin in this movie?
Nikolai?
Yeah.
He was probably, by the definition, probably the most assassin-like. Well, when it comes down to his profession, he was actually hired. If it comes down to how they actually performed, probably Denzel, because he was the only one that was actually trying to be super stealthy.
Nikolai was hired technically because he works for his boss, the guy that runs the Russian whole thing. So, yes, by definition, he was technically the assassin. He was contracted to make sure that nothing happened to the business. But, I also think, I don't know, because it doesn't really fit the description for Denzel to be an assassin. Because he wasn't hired, he didn't place a hit on anybody, he gave everybody a chance not to, so.
But does an assassin have to be hired?
No,
I don't think so.
No, but they need a motive.
I mean, he had a motive.
Not for that guy. Not for half the people he killed. I think more than half of the people he killed was more so a statement.
So, let's say that Nikolai was the assassin.
Mm-hmm.
How good of an assassin was he?
Bad.
Obviously not good since he failed.
Yeah. He just kept going to different people to hire men to take the blame for him, basically.
I noticed the same thing. He's supposed to be like the head honcho, I'm gonna find this guy, but he just is like telling all of his henchmen, you find them or I'll find somebody who does. And I'm just like, isn't that your job?
I feel like he was an enforcer, not really an assassin.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a fair assessment. He's so good, people just die around him.
So if Denzel's character is the assassin, how good of an assassin is he?
I'd say better than average. Probably does more killing than a top-notch assassin would have to, but he also doesn't do it out in public and around a bunch of people that aren't supposed to know about it. I think by the end of the movie, when people that he worked with were captured, there's not really much hiding it at that point unless he wanted them to just die. He did the best he could. I would say probably like a 7 to an 8 on a good assassin scale.
I don't know. I think it was unrealistic because they did show him vulnerable in a few places, like when the guy where they tumble by the broken glass from the mirrors. It sounded like that guy broke his knees, and then Ralphie comes and saves him, and he's limping, and then the next shot, he's running. So it's maybe it's adrenaline, or I don't know, but it just.
He had some more honey in his pocket.
Another doorknob.
He just eats a spoonful.
Like a video game. He's like.
I got strong Home Alone vibes because it's like he set everything up. There was the tripwire, and he knows they're gonna walk there, kind of thing.
I do like that they never used the tripwire in that one scene, though.
Yeah.
Well, he stepped over it.
Yeah, but I like
saw
that
it.
they set it up and then they don't.
But was it really a tripwire, or was it to make them think it was a tripwire so they'd stop long enough to be like, oh, it's a tripwire, stop, make sure you step over it, and then he has enough time to kill them.
Enough time to drill their head.
I never rated him, sorry. I would rate Rob, which is Denzel's character, a 6 out of 10 for his assassinness.
I think I'd give him like a 9 out of 10 for being an assassin.
Really?
Because for me, like, an assassin can just kill people,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really good at like creative ways of killing people, and he was obviously sneaky enough to get into the oligarch's house at the end and kill him.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, he killed everyone there, he still was able to do it.
Yeah. Somebody I thought was going to be a bad guy was the guys who came up to him while he was on his break in the baseball game. When he caught the ball instead of him, I thought he was going to freak out on him or something. I thought that was going to be the last straw, but...
The last straw, and then the assassin kills everybody at the baseball game.
Yeah. One thing I didn't like is that I don't know why he didn't, but he never uses a gun unless it's pointed at him and he reverses it. Which is weird, because of all those dead people, why wouldn't you just take their guns? Like, why are you making it harder on yourself, kind of thing? He could have done so much more.
Guns are
He was
loud.
bored.
Guns are loud.
Yeah.
And also, there was one scene where he gets shot by Nikolai where he's trying to grab the rifle off of one of the bodies. Which, amazing, by the way. Where did he just get a loose doorknob
Yeah, that's
from?
what I'm saying.
They're in a
Home
home
Alone.
store.
Why,
No,
no,
but it's like
but he
Home
was in
Alone.
the blowtorch section,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, he also has a loose doorknob, not even one attached to, it's not in any packaging. It's not on a door.
Yeah. I thought
It
he was
just works
gonna
out.
roll it out and try to make them pick it up or something. I don't know.
Could have been dual use. He could have.
That's what I thought, yeah. I thought he was going to use it as his next weapon.
I thought it was a little wild that it's never realistic to me. Maybe it's just because I'm a big baby. Anytime I just get like a paper cut, I'm just like, oh man, that really hurts. And here he is just cauterizing an open bullet wound, and he's just like,
He likes it. I feel like that's part of his training, though. Like, he had to have gotten shot multiple times before this, so he's probably used to it. And I can only imagine that in the military trainings, they just train you to not acknowledge your pain, kind of thing. Like, keep going or you'll die. I think, like, the scanning he does, too, is from his training, where he, like, scans what their tattoos are. Where
oh, you mean the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock-esque time dilation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was too many close-ups of his eye.
Yeah.
It was a lot, yeah.
Yeah. 1% of the movie is close-up of Denzel's eyes.
That's
And
it.
that's a noticeable percentage. Overall impressions of the movie?
I liked it. I thought it was actually pretty funny. Like when he did it was like a mic drop equivalent of him blowing up the ship and then walking away, and what was it, a nail gun that he killed Nikolai with?
Yeah.
It was just like twisting the knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm killing you in a home improvement store. It was like the perfect setup for
Yeah.
it.
A killer's playground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
the drill part.
Mm.
I liked the part where he grabbed the sledgehammer and cleaned it and put it back
Yeah, yeah.
for sale.
Yeah. That was disturbing.
Somebody else can buy my murder weapon.
Yeah.
I thought one of the parts that was a little lacking, basically the entire thing was kick-started by him wanting vengeance, basically, for Alina, was her name?
Yep.
For her getting beat up pretty bad. She was in the movie for a collective, like, maybe 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like he just kind of wanted an excuse to go on a murderous rampage.
I kind of think from his conversation with her, too, maybe it might have been the fact that she brought up his wife or something, where he was like, oh, well, she's dead now, so what else do I have to lose, kind of thing.
I like to think work at the Home Mart just got a little too boring.
Even though he promised his wife he wouldn't become that person again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there was like, it seemed like he could have redeemed himself by not killing
Yeah.
the guy at the end.
I was kind of curious. He was like, I'm going to make that exception for you. And I'm like, why is Nikolai more important than the promise he made to his wife?
Yeah.
That whole scene or sequence, I couldn't stop thinking, these poor Home Mart workers.
Yeah.
Imagine what it's going to be like to unlock the doors next morning.
Yeah.
Let me kind of hang in. Yeah.
And then they look down and there's the one below him too.
The other guy that got stabbed through the neck.
Yeah.
I kind of saw it coming, though, because they had said something earlier about you do this now, or it's going to affect the ones that you love, or something. Like, when he goes to see the lady that's from the organization he used to work for, he's like, she says something about if you do it now, they're going to just do something to the people that you care about. So I was like, oh, they're definitely going to take those people hostage.
Yeah, but I feel like that's only because we don't really meet anybody else that he cares about.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing maybe he's grown acquainted to being around them so long, but I don't know if I would necessarily believe that he thinks of all of them as close friends that he cares about. He's kind of just doing his job. we are also led to believe that he worked for some kind of government agency, so he's supposed to be the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's only the right thing for him to try and protect innocent people.
Yeah.
I think the movie tries to show you that line's blurred a lot by having so many dirty cops too.
Yeah.
And so then also showing him as like a good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is gonna be YouTube gold. Monetization, here we come. Are there any scenes that either of you thought could have been developed more, or is there anything that you thought might have been lacking as a whole throughout the movie?
I don't think he was like developed enough as a character. He just seems
Yeah.
like some guy that decided to kill people.
The way I thought of describing him is he's basically like a Mr. Rogers, but gone bad.
Interesting.
What? Okay.
Because
Interesting.
he's such a vigilante. He cares about people. He doesn't just go around killing people to kill people. He does it because he wants the community to be a better place. So like he's kind of this vigilante spirit, but he's also so nice to so many people, like Mr. Rogers. So he was trying to help Ralphie get into the security test and all that stuff. He's very motivational and he helps people.
Mm.
He was gonna bust that girl out even though he'd only talked to her twice at the diner. So
I think we're supposed to believe that he's met her a few more times than just that, because they already had a bit of a rapport built up from the first moment we saw them interacting.
yeah.
She asks him, has he caught the fish yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still very limited amount of time.
That's
For
true,
sure.
yeah.
It seems like he kind of jumps off the deep end for somebody that is... I mean, he didn't even know their name when we first saw their first interaction.
Yeah.
So,
Until she got hit.
I thought they had some really slapstick murder scenes.
Yeah. The drill is really amusing to me. I don't know why. Because
Yeah.
it just doesn't seem like it would actually work.
Yeah.
But it kind of does at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of like the movie Magic thing too, where like everybody that he killed, even when Nikolai strangled that girl, they all died way too fast. Like there's no way that you die that fast.
I just need to know, since you keep saying it's not realistic, do you know how real-life assassins operate?
No. But OCD. Oh my god, I thought he had OCD when he closed the door 3 times, and I was like, that's why he was moving the skulls and stuff.
Yep. Part of his limited character development is that he is a very particular person.
Yeah. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
And so every time he sets, obviously he's a little rusty in the beginning, as he assumes that he's going to be able to get the job done a lot faster than he actually did. So I think honestly he's counting the time just because he's probably used to a certain standard of getting jobs done at a certain speed, probably.
Yeah.
But he also like timed him getting ready in the morning.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He was like
Yeah.
himself. That was weird. So yeah, that's like all they had for the character development. That
Yeah.
was,
Well, I mean, like in the thing too, where he'd get home from work and he'd drink a glass of water and then eat something on the plate and he'd immediately wash it, and then it's in the same spot every time that he washes his dishes. So that's
I
where
did
I
not
was
pick
like,
up on that at all.
he's got OCD.
You didn't either?
I didn't even remember that was scene.
He's so organized, and every time he gets hurt, he doesn't wait until the battle's over like most people do. He got the doorknob and blowtorched it.
I think this movie falls into the same issues that many of the one-man army movies do, where it's just kind of like a head-scratcher. Why is nobody in a group? Why does only one person try to shoot at a time?
Yeah.
It seems like it would be much easier to actually take down the protagonist of the movie, but obviously they have plot armor.
Right. Like when Nikolai and the last guy that was left after Denzel killed the guy by the mirrors with the shard of glass, they're both shooting and emptying their clips at the same time. Like, why wouldn't one shoot, empty, and then reload, and then the other shoot? Like,
I had the same thought.
knowledge kind of stuff. Where you're like, why would you do that?
I know the scene that bothered me the most was him putting honey on the wound.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
Well, honey has like antibiotic
Yeah.
properties, but if you have honey, you think you'd have like alcohol or peroxide. It just
Yeah.
It was his backup stash house. He probably just grabbed the two. I mean, the immediate things I would think about are like, oh, rubbing alcohol. But he's like, I need to get a pot and honey. Yeah.
And he was at the store.
Because
Yeah.
you have to think, he has, like, the gauze pads. He has the wrap, everything else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he has everything but alcohol or
Yeah.
peroxide.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
You rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10 dead men.
I don't know. I like Denzel. I'd give it a 6 or 7.
Wow, that's it? Okay. Well,
I would have to agree, probably a 6.5. I've definitely seen plenty of better movies, but there's a lot to be desired. Once the movie finished, I kind of felt like that's it.
I like the resolve. I like the ending. Because it doesn't... I don't like when movies leave you hanging. I like to know for sure. And I mean, there is a second one too, but I'd give it an 8.
Wow, an 8, huh?
I'm pretty easily entertained, but I really...
Denzel carries.
Yeah, he's a great actor. So.
I also liked some of the John Wick-esque killing scenes.
Yes, the book! Oh my god,
Yes.
the book! Yes! I was like, that's what John Wick did.
I feel like that bald dude with the really pointy mustache, I've seen him before in other movies that are of the same genre.
Yeah. There were a few people, like, you thought that Nikolai was the guy from John Wick 2.
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, Nikolai reminded me of, who's the guy from House of Cards? People don't like him.
Oh. What's his name? Super famous actor. Yeah. I can't
Yeah.
think of his name even right now. He was in American Beauty.
Something like Pacey or something like that. Is his last name AC? Something AC?
No.
But I thought it was him for... Well, it looks like a bargain bin version of him.
And then I gasped, because it was the guy that plays Hopper from Stranger Things. And he looks so young, even though it's only a few
I
years
did like
ago.
that they had Boston accents in Boston.
Yeah, that was nuts.
A lot
Added
of
a
things
nice
filmed
touch.
in Boston and they don't bother
Yeah.
to even try. But
Brian, what was your favorite scene?
my favorite scene is like when he stuck that thing in the guy's eye, the glass.
Oh, yeah.
Like that part right there. That
We
fight
all
scene,
collectively went, oh!
I don't like that one in particular is my favorite when he like
Yeah.
jams that in there.
Yeah.
On the same note, my favorite part was when they were in the store and the guy backed up into the drill and he just drilled his head until he died.
Yeah.
That was another kind of, oh my god moment.
Yeah. For me, it's in between the blowing up of the ship, that was awesome, and then cliche, but where he kills Nikolai, it was perfect amount of suspense and revenge where you're like, oh no, he's gonna kill, what's his name, Paul or whatever? The security guard?
What was his name?
Ralphie.
That's what it was.
Paul.
Yeah, that's enough. When I thought he was gonna kill him, and then it was even funnier because then all his limbs were flopping.
Yeah, there was obviously a super amazing supportive cast. We definitely remember all their names.